reality. I like mine. You get my coffee. I like my job. It's really my job. I'm comfortable, but I need coffee. Oh God, she wants the reports already. AI everywhere to know how easy. Oh no, for every AI. I need change. I really need change. Everyone wants AI. I need change. I need change.
Change!
Marmite is what this car's like. You either hate it or you love it, which is a common trait found in strong characters. But enough metaphors, let's get to the facts.
Launched in 1993 in a single trim and a single engine, the ancient Clermont engine from the 1960s. During its production until 2007, the Twingo went through some updates. This one's from 1997, so it has the D7F engine, a 1.28 overhead valve beast producing 57 ponies. And that's with multi-point fuel injection. So it's quite good on fuel. As of now, with a tenner, I'm able to drive from one gas station to the other one across the street. It does about 5 litres per 100 kilometers. Granted, it doesn't have much weight to carry, with basic models weighing in just over 790 kilos. Which is why I think Renault considered that the brakes were optional. However, the handling is communicative. You get a shit ton of body roll, but it tells you exactly when it's about to murder you. But everything is just compensated by the vibe.
I mean, look at it. It's like a little pet. Goody goo. Alright. I get that you might not yet see it like I do, because I once too thought that this was just weird, fugly and, well, French.
Until I didn't. It's very small, like a French, who never do things just normally. Its face is constantly smiling, because it is French. The windshield has a single wiper, because it is French. It has a big red button you're not supposed to press, because it is French. There are intake vents on one side of the hood, and you'd think this is for the engine, but no, it's just for the climate control, because it is French. The steering wheel is shaped like the head of a beluga whale, because it is French. There's a dedicated place for coins, because they haven't made a revolution against tolls yet. An ashtray, but no glove box, because it is French. The door handle, the exhaust head is on the wrong side, the radio down on the dashboard angled up, because it is French. The antenna is mounted on the door mirror, because honestly that's just an awesome placement. Well done to the French. And truth be told, you just can't buy something as basic yet as strange as this. And trust me when I say basic.
Car technology has evolved so much that the categories between them have blurred. Say you're blindfolded and kidnapped into a car. In the 80s, you'd immediately be able to tell whether you were in a Ford Escort or a Ford Fiesta, because they had such different levels of comfort, noise, vibration and harshness. Whereas now, you can't tell which car you've been kidnapped into, because they've reached such a high threshold of NVH. But if you were kidnapped in the 90s...
Is this a Twingo?
Even for the 90s, this was a very bare bones car. And also, what did French people look like?
I'm 185 centimeters tall, and I have to decide whether to spread my legs apart to reach the steering wheel or choose leg comfort at the cost of having the steering wheel miles away from my reach.
Maybe it was to accommodate the feature that this car's mostly known for, the bed seats.
Did you know that the Twingo is also known as the love car? Renault really did know their target audience, eh? Okay, that's enough.
Seriously, how many cars can you have a bed with a sky view? Let's take this motel on wheel for a drive. Now, this is the part where I'm supposed to say that this is an amazing car and they don't make them like they used to and all that, but Not really. All Renaults, I don't know what it is about them, but all Renaults have this hollow feeling to them. You know, a Volkswagen, a Ford, Toyotas, even some Italian cars, they manage to feel dense and solid. And I've owned many cars from the same time period and even older, and yeah, this feels nothing like that. You hear everything that's going on, all the plastics rattling, well, the ones that survived anyway. You even hear the gearbox, you hear everything that's going on outside, window noise, you're very exposed. And the steering, now this one doesn't have power steering, and I do think it would benefit from it. Not because it's heavy, but because of the gearing in the steering. So it's not sharp at all, and it would benefit from a tighter radius. But Renault never made a power steering version, not hydraulic steering. They added some electronic steering, which I imagine the feeling isn't very good, probably overly light. And as I've mentioned, it's got a lot of body roll. This is body roll galore. But it does provide some feedback, and this body roll actually, it kind of lets you know when the car is about to give up. So it's kind of easy to understand the limits, where the limits of this car lie. And, you know, having no front end does make this a little bit more fun. It's really weird. Even when parking or doing cornering, you just have no front end at all. It becomes funny to drive. I wouldn't say this is an amazing handling car. I wouldn't say that it handles like a go-kart by any means. It's a funny car to drive. And like I said, I've had many cars, and I've had supposedly better cars lose control more easily than this. So in regards to handling, yeah, I think within the budget and constraints that this car had during its development, I think the French nailed it. It's really fun. Also, from 0 to 100, gives you enough time to eat a baguette. Which reminds me, the gear change. Now, for a long time, Renault used to connect the gear shift to the gearbox with a long metal rod, and it feels like it. Like, imagine you're operating a lever with a long, heavy stick. That's what it feels like. And the driving position, you know, speaking about the gearbox now and then the driving position, I've spoken about it and I said it's weird, but I didn't speak about how uncomfortable the seats actually are. Being a French car, I was expecting the seats to be all plushy and very comfortable sofa-like, but they're really not. These seats are like, they're hammock style. So it's basically a bit of a fabric with about a centimetre or less of foam on top of some springs, and you sit on top of that and you're just suspended on the springs. The thing is, it doesn't matter. When you go go-karting, for example, initially you sit on the go-kart and you're like, oh, this is uncomfortable, and you know, there's no cushioning. But then you just get going and drive and have fun, and you kind of forget about all that. And this is what it's like. Again, I'm not saying that this car feels like a go-kart. It's that feeling of you're having so much fun that you kind of just forget about the flaws. And kind of what it is all about, isn't it?
It's uncomfortable in every way. To look at, to drive, to use. Everything it does so with a compromise. But you know what? That's a good thing. For me at least, discomfort promotes creativity, resilience, problem solving, and drive. Having to pick up your PlayStation 2, for example, to take it to your friend's house for a game night was uncomfortable. But honestly, I'd take that over a Discord call any day. I pride myself on having many skills, but at the time I developed them out of necessity and curiosity. Discomfort leads you into a sense of achievement, no matter what it is.
Patrick Lecommand said that the Twingo is the kind of car that you carry home with you under your arm. And yeah, he's right. You know, the best part of your friends are their flaws. And this is my new flawed friend who well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with it, but the important thing is that it's fun. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to Drive the Stick.